wouldn't have chosen to have a no confidence vote. I don't think it's necessary. But it's quite easy to get 15% of Tory MPs to send in a letter. I think there are one or two who send in their letter the moment a new leader's appointed and just leave it on the files just in case. So without having wished it, I think getting it done today, getting it over quickly is the right approach.
How do you think it's going to go for the Prime Minister this evening?
Well, I obviously don't know. I expect the Prime Minister to win, but I wouldn't like to guess at numbers. It's a secret vote and people will vote according to their consciences, but I would encourage them strongly to support the Prime Minister.
Now, the PM's anti-corruption czar has just resigned. This is Conservative MP John Penrose. I'm just wondering, he says that the PM has broken ministerial code. What do you think about that?
John is a neighbour of mine in Somerset. He's got a neighbouring constituency and is somebody I hold in high regard, and I'm sorry that he has come to that conclusion. He was giving me very good advice on the procurement bill that is going through Parliament at the moment. But I think he's simply wrong. That what the Prime Minister has said in relation to the one fine he got is that he did not believe that it was in breach of the rules at the time it happened. And there is always an element of discretion, of judgment in rules, and sometimes one misjudges them. And that is the case. The police thought otherwise. But I think to say that's a breach of the ministerial code doesn't pay sufficient attention to what the code actually says.
Do you think it was a misjudgment on Boris Johnson's part?
I think that the birthday incident was judged retrospectively by the police not to have been in alignment with the rules, and the Chancellor was in the same boat as the Prime Minister. I don't think either of them thought that it was in breach of the rules. And, you know, opinions may differ, but the police are authoritative in this. So it was a pity that it happened.
Now, you are very optimistic about the vote tonight. Theresa May back in 2018 got 2/3 of the MPs' votes, and you said that losing 1/3 of the MPs was disastrous and she should resign. Will you be saying the same thing about Boris Johnson if he only manages to get 2/3?
Well, I did indeed say that, and you're quite right to bring it up with me. All my friends, and indeed my non-friends, said to me afterwards that my comments were a great mistake. Even a former, very well-disposed chief whip said to me that actually in a democracy, one is enough, and that what I said was both wrong democratically and ungracious. So I have long recognised that those words were a mistake.
So what will you expect Boris to get? What do you think would be enough?
Look, I wish I could make a forecast for you. I simply don't know. That it's a very hard electorate to read. Even when I was trying to organise this campaign against Mrs May, I didn't have a very clear idea of what the votes would be. The one thing I would caution you about, because we definitely did this in the vote of no confidence against Mrs May, is we went around saying to everybody it'd be a very low number, so that whatever the number was, we could say we'd done very well. So if people against the Prime Minister are saying it'll be a very low number, bear in mind that they will be underbaking it.
Now, I have to ask you this question. I think I know I'm going to know the answer, but is there an alternative to Boris Johnson? If this doesn't go well for the PM, who would you like to see in his place?
Well, there are an awful lot of people who think they are alternatives to Boris Johnson. I think Tobias Ellwood seems to be putting his name about a bit and wants us to basically rejoin the European Union by going back into the single market. And I think that's really important because the energy for this opposition to the Prime Minister is coming from people who always rejected the 2016 vote, who didn't want Boris Johnson to be the leader, then don't want him to be leader now because they're hostile to Brexit. And that's really important because this isn't so much a vote about the Prime Minister, it's a vote to undermine the election result in 2019 and the referendum result in 2016. And we need to deliver Brexit. It's what the British people expect. That's my role as Brexit Opportunities Minister, so that we grasp the benefits of being outside the European Union, so that we can move our economy in a different direction from the EU. Tobias Ellwood and his friends all want to tie us back into that failed, sclerotic European system.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, Brexit Opportunities Minister, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. No, thank you for having me.